Well, hello, everybody, and let me turn down the volume here on my headphones because then it feeds back on me and it sounds really weird. So, still not quite used to that. But one of the things I wanted to talk about today, it's been an amazing week. Had my friend Justin Deschamps in town. He just left this morning, flying back to where he's flying back home. Really great, powerful week, and we got a lot of work done and a lot of things that we needed to iron out as far as stillness in the storm goes and stuff like that. So that's pretty exciting. And so, there's just going to be a lot of great things coming out. And I know some of you remember a few years ago when myself and Elena Jones did a Celebrating Infinite Oneness at Sacred Lands in Florida. There's the possibility that we're going to be doing that or something similar to that coming up in the future. And I met with Elena last week. We ran across her at the Metaphysical Society. We were talking about doing another festival, another healers type gathering here in Florida. We did it in May last time of 2014, so I'm thinking probably like March sometime because you know how it can get super hot in Florida, and we just wanted to make it really nice. But that's kind of how my whole month has been going on since like June. I mean, there's been a lot of things that have happening, and I've said in other videos that I was going through something. And I've talked about how we have to go through these things. But there's one thing I want to talk about is that there's the term synchronicity. And I know that some of you know about this. But even if you've never heard the term before, I know you've experienced times in your life where things just seem to be, the signs just seem to be dropping in your lap. They just seem to be coming up in front of you and saying, hey, this is the correct way to go. And hey, pay attention to this, all this kind of stuff. And so, and what that is there for is it's there for a few reasons. It's one to say, hey, by the way, I know you're a little bit nervous because you're getting ready to step outside of your comfort zone, but you're going to step out of your comfort zone. But hey, these are the red flags, these are the yellow flags, these are the green flags saying, go ahead and do it. Let's go in this direction. And why not? And so let's talk about synchronicity a little bit, because I mean, it's been happening a lot. It's also for like things it's basically for things that haven't happened, but your intuition is kind of pushing you in that direction, or opportunities have come to you in that, pushing you in that direction. And it's saying, hey, you could take the step forward, so you don't have to just sit there and go, oh, well, I'm not really sure if this is the right decision, because the ego can be like really struggle with that sometimes. The human mind can say, well, I'm not really sure if I should do this, and da 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 da. And there's this little mind voice in your head, and I call it the motherfucker basically sometimes, because it's literally just like it's scared. It's the scared little boy or scared little girl inside of you saying, oh no, if I do this, what if this happens? What if this happens? All my security is going out the door and all that kind of stuff. And you guys know what I'm talking about, this voice in your head. So let's talk about synchronicity a little bit. So synchronicity, if we were to put it up here on the screen, is the simultaneous occurrence of events that appear significantly related but have no discernible causal connection. So this is a term, it was actually coined, it says here in the 50s by Carl Jung. I think he actually came up with this a lot, like probably in the 20s or something like that, from what I was reading earlier on different things. And so another quote here says, synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have eyes to see. So, there's a lot of times synchronicity is happening all the time. I mean, the universe is literally speaking to you at all times. But the problem is are you willing to see or hear or feel or pay attention? And so what happens a lot of times is these things start coming up and you just don't notice them because you're so wrapped up in the BS of the world that you're missing all these opportunities. And so, the universe is saying, hey, go this way. And you're like focused in on all this drama over here. And you're worried about that. Hey, by the way, I've said in other videos, drama is going to happen, but you don't have to sit there and focus on it. And by the way, if there's all this anxiety or pain inside of you, it means that something in you has not taken a step forward, and the soul, the body, and the mind, the body, and soul are not congruent with each other, and they're not in alignment. So if you're feeling that type of anxiety, it's time for you to say, whoa, wait a second, maybe I should look at this so I can move on. And then the synchronicities you'll start recognizing, because they're happening all the time. So there was a really cool story. A few years ago, my mind was just like racing. And this is more than a few years, it's probably like 6, 7, 8 years ago. My mind is just racing. And how's all these things going on in it? And I remember driving down the road, and this person is literally just just drives by me, almost runs me off the road. And I remember, what? Where did that happen? Why did they almost run me off the road? What a jerk! And so you start going into the, you want to show them sign language and all that other kind of stuff. And then I realized, so there was something, I think the bumper sticker said like slow down and take the smell the roses and stop and smell the roses or something like that. But I remember, whoa, wait a second. Sometimes we have to slow down in order to find what their purpose is, or we need to find out what direction we need to go in. Like when I was driving, I was just got done working for a company called DS Services, which is Crystal Springs Water, and that gave me a lot of opportunities. And I'm glad to be out of it, but it also gave me a lot of opportunities and showed me a lot of things. One of the things it showed me is I drove 50 miles there and 50 miles back. Well, it was 49 miles there and 49 miles back. So, and it's on Interstate 4 from Largo, Clearwater area, which is where I live. I had to drive through, if you're familiar with the Howard Franklin Bridge in the Tampa Bay, I had to drive through there, past the airport, down through downtown Tampa, which we call that Malfunction Junction, and then all the way around the fairgrounds and all that other kind of stuff. And so never fails, there was sometimes 2 and 3 car accidents so on the way there. So one of that could be a message of saying, hey, it's time for you to slow down. It gave me sometimes an hour to an hour and 15 minutes just to ponder, sometimes an hour and a half to just ponder my life and think about it. Because once I got into work, it was busy, and I didn't have any time to think. So, it gave me an hour and a half there sometimes and an hour and a half back to really think about things that I wanted in life. And that's going to happen throughout your life. You're going to go into this direction, and maybe that's not the right direction, and then it's going to start giving you all these things. And then there's this my friend Sherry always says that, and I think this is a great phrase, when you are swimming upriver, when you are like in the boat swimming into the current, and you're like struggling, then you're probably going in the wrong direction. But when it's in flow, when it starts getting easy and it starts feeling good and starts putting you in that direction, when you're in the now, that's when you're in the now of the moment, then you're in this place and then the synchronicities of the world will start revealing themselves to you. So just really pay attention to that. If there's a lot of resistance happening, probably going in the wrong direction. If it's really easy, if it's flowing, then you're probably going in the right direction, because life is not supposed to be this big, difficult thing. It's supposed to be an experience, and it can be a difficult thing. We can choose that because everything is about choices. And then there's always cause and effect. So whatever we put out there, it comes back. So if we continue to go in resistance to what the flow is, it's going to give us all these experiences of a resistance. So there's a whole lot of things that we could think about there. So I think I don't know if I read this one, but synchronicity is an ever-present reality. Yes, I read this one. Reality for those who have eyes to see. So sometimes if we're all wrapped up in our world and we're not seeing it, we're going to miss a whole lot. So there's just some things to think about. Next one here is summarized as the meaningful coincidences by Carl Jung. At its most awesome, synchronicity can clarify decisions leading to choices that feel aligned with the best version of yourself. And at its most random, it's damn amusing. And that is very true, because there's been times where I'm just going down the wrong path, or not even the wrong path. Let's get rid of that word, wrong and right, because they're all just paths. They're all just a part of your journey. So let's stop with the right and wrong, because the right and wrong causes us to feel guilty or happy, and then we're in this duality. So let's just think about, you're on this journey. So you're going on this journey, and then you start, and then everything just starts to seem like it's falling apart, and then you're like, whoa, wait a second. And then you look back and you think wow, I just really made a mountain out of a molehill. And it is amusing, because you have to laugh at yourself. And sometimes it's like you just have to giggle, because there's many times where I just do things and I'm like, what? Why did I do that? And I have to laugh, because there's an asshole inside this head. And sometimes he's a really nice person, and he's a really good person, and I love a lot of people, but there's also this part of me that's an asshole. And I know it's in all of you too, because it's that little part of you that just starts going on, and then you're like, wow, didn't really think about that one, did I? And it's not about feeling stupid. It's about saying, hey, that was a journey, and now I know that that's not where I want to go, and I can change route. Because, hey, guess what? We have that choice, and that's part about being an adult. So let's read the next one here. So the next one here says, I am open to the guidance of synchronicity and do not let expectations hinder my path, the Dalai Lama. So, a lot of times we do have expectations as human beings, and actually we have a lot of expectations as human beings. When we start letting go of expectations, it lets us blossom like the butterfly in this picture. So, it takes us to that next level, and, we can really enjoy that. So I pulled this story up because this says read the signs, and it's similar to that story I was telling you guys a little about earlier, and that's what it reminded me of, and that's why that brought that story up for me. But it says here, signs are literally all around us. A friend of mine was feeling stuck in her life, and as she rushed out in the car to pick up her child from school, she realized she was heading into a traffic jam. Great, she thought. The world is mirroring my sense of being stuck. Just then, a little white car zipped past her and drove straight into the converging lines of traffic, cutting them off and opening up a space for her to get clear. As she seized the chance to get out of the jam, she glanced back and noticed that the vanity plate of the white car read, "Create." She was grateful for the double messages that when things stall, we are required to create a new approach, and that we don't have to figure everything out on our own. The universe can be friendly if we'll let it. Other signs that are in your face might include a billboard or a quote on a church signboard, or the first song or a commercial that is on the radio when you turn it on. There's a whole bunch of things. Like, I was going through a really hard time in 2006. I called it my 6 months of hell, but probably the greatest lessons I ever had. And I remember I had lost, my relationship had ended, and my job, I just lost it, and I was really struggling on what I was going to do next and all that kind of stuff. There was a whole bunch of emotional stuff going on. And I remember I was with my cousin Sherry, and so we were sitting there at this restaurant, and one of my friends called me up, and he starts basically yelling at me about basically our home in Baltimore and stuff like that. And I remember we just got into this argument, and I was just really upset. And then we were getting in the car, and we were driving down the road. We were going to go out to New Hope in Pennsylvania, and it said, and there was the song by Fleetwood Mac, and I can't remember the name of the song. Don't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow is, I believe, the name of the song. But basically, the song goes, Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Yesterday is gone, and it just goes on. And I'm sitting here, and I'm listening to the song over and over and over and over again, and in my head, it's playing on the radio, and then all of a sudden I just start laughing, and I was like, wait a second, whoa, that's synchronicity. Because what were those songs? All these things, bad things, and I was obviously in this bad place. I was depressed, and I heard the song comes on and says, don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Yesterday's gone. It will be better than before. And so those are the lyrics. So it's trying to say to me is that, don't worry about what happened yesterday. Worry about the future and the now of the moment, and it'll be better than before. Let's get ourselves in alignment. And that stuck with me for a very, very long time, because it's something that we have to really start thinking about. No matter what you're going through right now, this too shall pass. And then the synchronicity into the world is going to literally help guide you out of it. It's like, and then there's a vibrational frequency. You can go, if you're in a depressed state, you're going to go from depressed state up to the next level, and up to the next level, and the next level, and the next level. And then you're going to be at maybe a joy and happy and elated and self-actualized and all this other kind of stuff. And those are just part of the journey. So it's something to think about. But if there's things out there that you want to do, hey, the universe is trying to guide you. It's like these little nuggets. I think I said in another video, it's like a lily pad. You jump from one next to the next. It's a treasure hunt, so to speak. So anyways, peace, everybody. Love you guys, and have an amazing day, and blessings. Bye-bye.